Yes, it's 8:32. So my name is Nashmil. I'm a UI UX designer working at Softhouse. Softhouse is a consultancy company. We offer a bunch of services from the very beginning to the end, from ideation and project management and then development and design and everything. So if you are interested in knowing more about us, do get in touch with me. So we could talk a little bit about it. I'm also Interaction Design Foundation local lead in south of Sweden. And this is our November event. We have an event every month. And this is our November event. I got sick last week. This was supposed to be last week in person, but I got very sick. So I changed it to this weekend online. So I'm very happy to have people even from other parts of Sweden, like Stockholm and Karlskrona and all other parts of the Sweden. So thank you so much for joining us today. Yes, so I'm going to talk a little bit about crafting calm in chaos, which means, and also this is my LinkedIn if you'd like to scan the QR code so we could join and I can help you more with Interaction Design Foundation things. But yes, so today we're going to speak about designing for stressful situations. Why is it not going? Okay. Let's begin with what is stress. So according to Oxford University, Oxford English Dictionary from university, stress is a mental or emotional strain placed on or experienced by a person as a result of adverse or demanding circumstances, especially the pressure of or problem in one's life. But there are different stages of stress. As you could see, we have a diagram of different what is it called, space response cycle for stress. So it begins with a startle response, which is like an initial reaction that you show when you get stressed. The next in the cycle is intuitive assessment, which is that's where you wonder if is it really dangerous, is this really threatening, so which is based on your life experiences. So if the answer is no, then you calm down and continue with your life. But if the answer is yes, then it goes to the next level, next step, which is the famous fight, flight, and freeze step. This is the body's natural reaction to perceived threats. And this is where the cortisol and adrenaline releases, and you might see like a panic style behavior. But these three things that might happen, you might be in a fight mode, which is you get feisty and you're ready. Or flight mode, which is when things it doesn't meet your expectations and that you have developed throughout your life, then you feel, okay, something is wrong, I'm out. It's like you open a website and you feel that, oh, this website is weird, I don't want to get hacked, I'm out. And the last one is freeze, which is like when you're overwhelmed by what is happening and you can't do anything about it. You can't make any decisions, you can't take any actions. That's when you have decision paralysis, and that would be the freeze step. Next one is when logic kicks in, and then that's when you realize that, okay, I am able to handle the situation with all the tools that I have and developed as a human. So I might be able to actually react back. And the last one is a recovery phase, which is users find ways to return to the baseline state. So the first two two parts of the cycle, startle and intuitive assessment. They belong to the yellow part of the diagram. This third and fourth part belongs to the middle one, and the last part, recovery, belongs to the last part. The general thing to know about design and stress is that in early stages, you benefit from straightforward and reassuring cues, but in the design. But in the later steps, you benefit from recovering aids like clear instructions and error recovery path. But let's talk about experts and non-experts. Who is expert? So how do you know how a non-expert becomes an expert? This is through a practice, training, experience, and repetition, right? Which results in a developing an intuitive understanding of the task, and which makes it move from I need to think about something to actually I automatically do this. That's when a person becomes an expert, or non-expert becomes an expert. And that's kind of a difference when you design for an expert and non-expert, because when you design for a non-expert, you design for unpredictability. You have no idea what's happening, how they're going to react. But in an designing for an expert, since they have some parts that they have been trained for, is not as unpredictable as a non-expert. So designing for stress out. So when designing for experts, we need to help them not to think about things they already have practiced, learned, and developed intuition for, that they do automatically. So we need to help them to not to need to think about those things, not to disturb their process. Instead, we as designers, we need to help them spend their time and focus and their cognition efforts and put them on solving the actual problem, which means parts that they don't know automatically, they don't do automatically. If you've ever designed or you've worked with a system that is like an internal system that you always use, it is kind of like, you know where the button is, next button or close button. So you just come with your cursor and you're ready to click on the button. It's like that. So if you're used to, or if the user is used to having a button on a specific screen, unless you have an extremely legitimate reason, please do not move the button. And button is just an example. So let them have their automatic part automatically. When designing for an expert, it is better if you're gonna choose between doing a redesign or doing a complete design from the base, then create a completely new design. Because when relearning is always difficult, right? But when you have to learn a redesign, there are two things. You have to learn a new design, and then you have to fight the old habits, which is a lot more difficult than just learning a new thing. So for an expert, in general, it's better to do a design from the base and redesign an existing system. So in general, you shouldn't disturb the automated parts of their brain and what you're doing, because then it pushes them towards the fight and flight mode, which might not be actually the what we're looking for. Some guidelines here, it would be a bit repetitive, but you should try to minimize cognitive load. Avoid making experts think too much about automated tasks. Allow them to a smooth and easy decision-making path. Avoid disturbing changes. For example, if a system is used by experts, reduce unexpected changes that might disturb their flow and bring them into the fight or flight mode. Provide control. It is important that you ensure features allow you experts to back out or modify their changes, their actions without penalties. They could just easily do that and no problem. Like imagine a medical professional use interfaces under stress, and it is very important that that system is predictable and that system is very stable. There are 10 ways to mitigate stress through design. So the first one is harness expertise. So as I mentioned, enable users to apply their instincts and their learned skills, and don't make them think about those parts that they already know. The second one is suppress stress by preparation and practice. This means help users anticipate stress points by practicing or learning features ahead of time. This could happen by showing them onboardings or having like a video tutorials in the app, so they have a chance to look through what might happen and how they might need to react beforehand. They have time to practice and learn it. Kind of making them expert. They won't be an expert, but kind of. The next one is model expected behavior. So provide guidance or tutorials that help users predict what will happen next. So if there is a stressful situation, provide them with a tutorial or some kind of guidance that shows them what is next, what is expected of them, so that it goes quicker and it goes easier for them. And combine writing with visuals. Try to create relatable, clear, simple instructions with supportive visual. This will reduce cognitive load so users understand better. Next one is break down content. Present information in small and manageable chunks, because we all know people don't read. In general, people don't read, and it's much worse in stressful situation. So if you break down the information that you're presenting in a smaller chunks, or do the, what is it called? I forgot. Progressive disclosure. So show them information a bit later or when they actually need it. That's very helpful. Protect users in stressful situation and create a design that is error forgiving. So provide guardrails to prevent irreversible changes and mistakes, and support recovery from those changes that they have made. Design with undo buttons, recovery options, allowing users to easily correct their mistakes. Do not create extra stress because they have done something and it might not be able to go back. Calm design elements. Create calm design elements. Use calming colors and simplify navigations, clear communication, and conversational language. Do not use like big words. Easy, simple conversational language. Make it easy. Like a minimalistic interface with only like essential information. Again, progressive disclosure, and use a language that feels supportive and understandable. Streamline choices. Reduce the number of decisions and steps needed to complete a task. Make the choices and the decisions, making those choices and decisions very, very simple. People do not have the brain capacity to actually sit and make all those changes when they are very stressed. enhance readability, use large, clear text, and ensure contrast for readability. The important things has to be big and easy to find. Remove distractions. Avoid all these countdowns, limited time offers, unnecessary notifications. Like imagine you're an airport and your flight got canceled and it's late at night and you need to book a hotel room for yourself. And then you open booking.com and then you get all these, countdown, limited time offer. If you don't book now, you will lose the whole thing. So remove all those if the situation is stressful. And an important thing is conduct user testing and iteration in environment where this product is going to be used. For example, if it's going to be used in an airport or a hospital, go to the airport and go to the hospital and do the testing there, because all these places, they might be crowded, they might be noisy, there might be like real distractions. So you have to test your design in the real environment to actually understand that it is actually working. But one very, very important aspect of designing for stress is inclusivity. So many of physical symptoms that people feel, they experience when they are stressed, like tunnel visions, like shaking, like difficulty reading or understanding, difficulty focusing, easy information overload, all these things, they are things that there are people who actually live with them on a daily basis. So if you have those things in mind and you create your designs with those things in mind, then you are including a lot more than just people that are stressed. It is like a curb cut effect. You all probably know what it is. Curb cut effect is the sidewalks, they used to have an edge that you have to actually like a tiny step that you could go up, and then after a while I realized, okay, so it's not just for people who can't see. It's even it's not only difficult for people who can't see, it's even difficult for people with strollers, with carts, with everything. So they changed it so it was a lot more inclusive than just people who couldn't see well. And that is the same case here as well. The Yerkes-Dodson law. So there is this law, Yerkes-Dodson, which, as you see in the diagram, it is a bell curve diagram that shows the relationship between arousal, which in this case is stress, and the performance. So the level of this, of course, depends on the familiarity of the user with the task and the difficulty of the task. So as you can see in the middle, there is a growth and learning part, right? And the level of it depends on where the difficulty of the task and the familiarity of the person with the task. So the higher, if the stress is higher than the growth and learning level, then the performance decreases because they will be way too stressed and it will result in a burn down. And if the stress level is lower than that, then the user is going to underperform because of the lack of the motivation. So there should be a balance. This means that creating a design that is stress-free is not a positive thing either. We have to find a balance where we're going to allow users to be a little bit stressed, like a positive stress, a little bit of stress, and then perform well. try to keep your design in the growth and learning path, learning part. I have done, there are these resources if you're interested in learning about the topic. There are these books by Susan Weinschenk and Katie Swindler. I find them very, very interesting. I have also myself done a podcast about this topic that I'm going to probably share today on LinkedIn. And we discuss the same thing, how to design for a stressful situation. Also, if you are interested in upskilling, I can very, very warmly recommend 3 services. The first one is, of course, Interaction Design Foundation. On the top right, the QR code on top right, it goes directly to our LinkedIn group. On the QR code on the picture of the image of the Interaction Design Foundation, it goes to their website. Then we have Softhouse, which is where I work, and we have both on-demand courses and some other events called, for example, Optech. And I do this Interaction Design Foundation events on the name TechFast in Softhouse as well. So all our coming events will be also on the Softhouse website. There is a QR code for it also if you want to scan. And then the last one is Ambition and Power. I've been a member for like 3 years, and they have different tracks like AI, but they have like 10 tracks, I guess. And then you get some like 1 hour per track per month. There is like a sessions, and then with live teachers are from all around the world, Swedish, Americans. They're very famous people, very knowledgeable, that I can very warmly recommend all these 3 resources to learn more about design.